Hey, in today's lesson, you will learn 25 very useful phrases for traveling. Whether you are going on holiday or vacation or you travel for work, these phrases are extremely common, versatile, and useful in many situations. So let's go. Now, before we jump in, today's lesson is a vocabulary lesson. And if you are trying to take your English vocabulary to the next level, make sure to check out the weekly English Words membership. This is an online self-study membership. You can learn at your own pace, and you will learn lots of different words, phrases, expressions, idioms, phrasal verbs about tons of different topics. I will link the weekly English Words membership down below this video so you can learn more. All right, our first phrase or group of phrases is to ask about the price of something. It's very common that we have to ask how much something is. So of course you can say, how much is this? How much is this? You can also ask, how much does this cost? How much does this jacket cost? How much does this bag cost? And if you want to be a little more polite and use an indirect question, you could say, could you tell me how much this is, please? So these are just some nice variations to ask for the price of something. So of course, the simplest one would be, how much is this? But if you are in an English-speaking country, I would recommend using, could you tell me how much this is, please? I know it's a little bit longer, but it is very polite, very natural, very common. So give it a try. Next, some questions for asking about Wi-Fi, a very important one. So whether you are in a hotel or a restaurant or another location and you need the Wi-Fi, you can ask, do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have Wi-Fi? Or is there Wi-Fi available? Do you have Wi-Fi? Is there Wi-Fi available? And you often need to ask, do you have a Wi-Fi password? Or what is the Wi-Fi password? So a variety of questions depending on the situation. Now, if you're in a hotel or booking a hotel, you may need to ask about the time for check-in and check-out. You can simply ask, what time is check-in? What time is check-out? What time is check-in and what time is check-out, okay? So check-in is when you arrive and register your arrival at your accommodation, whether it's a hotel, an Airbnb, or so on. And check-out is the time that you are expected to leave the room. So it's important to know check-in and check-out. If you go to the front desk or to the reception desk, you can also say, I would like to check in, please, or I am checking out when you're leaving. I would like to check in, or I'm checking out. Very useful and important phrases to know. Another one is breakfast included? Is breakfast included? Now this question is one that you would ask when you are booking or checking in to your hotel. Perhaps you forgot or you missed this information, or maybe your company booked accommodation for you. So you might need to ask, is breakfast included, or is breakfast included with the room? Okay, is breakfast included? So this is one that you might ask at the hotel reception, or you can ask if you have a local friend or you've met someone from the place that you're visiting. Could you recommend a good local restaurant? Could you recommend a good local restaurant? Or could you recommend something else? Similarly, another question you might ask, could you recommend any must-see attractions? Could you recommend any must-see attractions? So this is a great one to ask a local person in that place. Basically, you're asking, what should I do while I'm here? Where should I go? What attractions or sites should I visit or see? Of course, you can look these up online, but generally you kind of get the most touristy things online. So it's always nice to ask a local resident or someone who lives there. Now, some questions for asking direction. How do I get to an attraction or a place from here? How do I get to a place from here? Another option, can you tell me how to get to this attraction from here? So for example, let's say you're visiting New York and you want to go to Times Square. You can say, can you tell me how to get to Times Square from here? Can you tell me how to get to Times Square from here? Or how do you get to Times Square from here? All right, so two options to ask for directions. Now, if you need to get some cash or some money, you might ask, is there an ATM nearby? Is there an ATM nearby? And if you're asking someone on the street and maybe they don't know, they're just a random person walking around, you can ask, do you know if there is an ATM nearby? Do you know if there is an ATM nearby? Now, this is another indirect question, a very nice, polite grammatical structure to know. And a lot of these simple questions that we're talking about in today's lesson can be changed into indirect questions as well. Another simple but useful one is, do you have a map? Do you have a map? Now, this can be asked at lots of different locations. Let's say you are visiting a major tourist attraction and it's very big. Usually they have a map of the grounds or a map of the site. So you can ask when you buy your ticket or when you enter, do you have a map? Okay. Or at a hotel, you can also ask, do you have a map of the area or do you have a map of the city? It's also very common that they have a map. Of course, you have Google Maps nowadays, but sometimes it is quite useful to have a physical map. If you're taking, for example, a bus tour around a major city, they often give you a map of major locations or tourist attractions that you can stop at. And it's a nice simplified map. So even if you're not great at reading maps, sometimes a physical paper map is very helpful. Another useful question that you might ask at your hotel or accommodation is, could you call a taxi for me? Or could you arrange a taxi for me, please? Could you call a taxi for me or could you arrange a taxi for me? Could you call a taxi for me is when you need a taxi at that moment on the spot and you're willing to wait. Could you arrange a taxi for me, please? This is for when you want to arrange a taxi or book a taxi for a future time, maybe tonight or tomorrow morning, for instance, all right? So of course, in some cities, you have taxis all over the place. Like in Dubai, it's really easy to catch a taxi or flag a taxi down on the street in the busy areas. Flag a taxi down, it's when you just call the taxi on the street and they stop. You just stop them on the street, okay? That's a nice phrase to know. Next, is there shuttle service to the airport, or do you have shuttle service to the airport? Again, this is a question that you're most likely going to be asking at your hotel or accommodation. A lot of hotels and accommodation nowadays do offer shuttle service or transport service to the airport. Another follow-up question you might ask here is, can I book shuttle service to the airport, or how can I book shuttle service to the airport? So do you have shuttle service? Can I book shuttle service, or how can I book the shuttle service? This next question is useful in any situation when you're traveling, and not only when you're traveling, but just in everyday life in general. If you're talking to someone and you have trouble understanding them because of a language barrier, you can ask, could you please repeat that a little slower? Could you please repeat that a little slower? Okay. I've heard a lot of people say, speak slowly or speak slowly, please. And there's nothing wrong grammatically with this phrase, but it's more of a command and it's not the most polite way to ask someone to speak slowly. So instead, you could ask a little more politely and use this question. Next, we have a phrase for ordering food in any restaurant. You can simply say, I will have, and your food or drink, please. For example, I will have a cheese pizza, please. I will have a coffee, please, okay? This is a very nice, simple, straightforward way to order food in any restaurant or cafe. Next, when it comes to paying for things, you can ask, can I pay by card? Can I pay by card, or do you take card? Can I pay by card, or do you take card? Now, let's say you're walking around either on your own or with one other person. You see a beautiful sight and you want to take a photo, but you don't want to take a selfie. So you want to ask someone else to take the photo. You can simply stop the person and say, excuse me, would you mind taking a photo of us? Excuse me, would you mind taking a photo of us? Or would you mind taking a photo of me? A very nice, polite way to ask someone to take a picture of you. This is another very important and useful one in any location. You can ask the staff working somewhere, excuse me, can you tell me where the nearest bathroom or restroom is? Can you tell me where the nearest bathroom is, please? Now, this is a good question for when you are in a big airport, maybe it's your first time there, and you cannot find something. You can ask the staff working there, can you help me find something, please? So for example, can you help me find my gate, please? Can you help me find the exit, please? Can you help me find the baggage claim, please? So this is much nicer than just saying, where is the exit? Where is the baggage claim? Again, those questions are grammatically correct, but really, really direct. So if you want to be a little more natural, a little more polite, this is a great option. So let's say you're commuting or moving around in the city or the town that you're visiting. You might need to ask, how far is the nearest train station or bus station? How far is the nearest train station or bus station? Or can you tell me how to get to the nearest bus station or the nearest train station? So again, asking for directions or asking for the distance. Usually if you ask how far it is, someone who knows will be able to give you directions as well. So once you get to the train station or the bus station, you might need to purchase a ticket and ask, what time does the next bus leave, or what time does the next train leave? Now, if you want to know to a specific destination, you can ask, what time does the next bus to this location leave? Or what time does the next train to this location leave? Leave in this question or sentence means depart. Now, depart is correct as well, but it's a little bit more formal. So leave is much more conversational and common in this context. Another important question, if you're not feeling well, might be, is there a pharmacy nearby? Or do you know if there's a pharmacy nearby? Is there a pharmacy nearby, or do you know if there's a pharmacy nearby? Now, let's say that you are trying to read a document or read some information and you are not able to fully understand it. You might want to ask for some help with a translation. And in this case, you can simply ask, could you help me with this translation, please? Could you help me with this translation, please? Or could you help me translate this, please? Could you help me translate this, please? Now, a lot of places offer discounted tickets for students, children, or seniors. So when purchasing or buying a ticket for an attraction, you might want to ask, are there any discounts for children? Are there any discounts for seniors? Earlier, we talked a little about asking for a map. Let's say that you have a map and you want to know where you are. Not everyone is great at reading maps. So you might ask, could you please show me where we are on this map? Could you please show me where we are on this map? Another useful question at your hotel might be, do you have any travel guides for the area? Do you have any travel guides for the area? A lot of hotels carry brochures, information, and travel guides about the city or the community where you are staying, and they're super helpful. So you might want to ask for one upon your arrival. And this is a bonus phrase that's helpful not only when you're traveling, but pretty much any time someone helps you. You can simply say, thank you for your help. Thank you for your help. So I say this all the time when I am shopping, when I am traveling, in general, when anyone helps me, whether it's big or small, it's really nice to say thank you for your help and acknowledge that the person has helped you. So a great one when you're traveling as well. So there you have it, 25 or a few more phrases that you can use on your next trip, whether you're traveling for business or just for fun. Make sure to check out the weekly English Words membership that's linked down below. And if you enjoyed today's lesson or learned something new, please do give it a thumbs up, leave a comment to let me know, and make sure to subscribe. If you subscribe, it really helps me and it helps the channel to grow and reach English learners all around the world. Thank you so much for watching, learning, and spending time with me today. I will see you soon in another one.